किरकिरती भी जहां मिलने लगी क्रिकेट की सारी बातें जहां जोश भी है जहां होश भी है जहां क्रिकेट है आओ देखे क्रिकेट टीवी।
Hello and welcome back to Cricket TV, all things cricket and more. The IPL 2026 final is just one step away. RCB have already booked their place after completely dismantling Gujarat Titans in qualifier 1. Today, only one question remains: who joins them in final, Gujarat Titans or Rajasthan Royals? We have Nikhil Morsawala and Narayan Pasari with us. Nikhil sir is already supporting Rajasthan Royals. We can clearly see that. So let's start with you and let's start with Rajasthan Royals. How do you think they played their last match and how do you think they'll be prepared for today?
मेरे ख्याल से दोनों उनकी जो इसके पहले की जो मैच थी जब क्वालिफायर में आना था उनको ठीक मुंबई के सामने जो लास्ट मैच थी और जो कल वाली जो मैच थी या परसों वाली जो मैच थी उसमें दोनों में आपको अंतर दिखेगा कि उस पहले मैच में सारे प्लेयर ने कंट्रीब्यूट किया। वैभव सूर्यवंशी फ्लॉप हो गया था, यशस्वी जायसवाल भी नहीं कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाए, लेकिन बाद में जो लोग आए वो लोग 200 के पार लेके गए स्कोर को in spite of the top three not playing. And I think that speaks a lot for the depth in the team. Coming to the last match, you could see that it was one-sided way all the way. So आज की मैच में मुझे लगता है कि गुजरात वैसे काफी बैलेंस टीम है, लेकिन अगर उनका जो एक माइंडसेट नेगेटिव माइंडसेट है जो पिछले हार से आया होगा शायद, क्योंकि काफी बुरी तरह से पिट गए थे, तो उनको एक मनसा जो है थोड़ी चेंज करनी पड़ेगी। राजस्थान इज कमिंग ऑन अ हाई, कंप्लीट हाई। गुजरात इज कमिंग ऑन अ स्लाइट डिक्लाइन in terms of performance, in terms of thought processes, in terms of performance, individual performances. So I think the edge is slightly with Rajasthan more from a momentum perspective, not from a skill perspective. I think Gujarat is by far a more balanced team than Rajasthan. And if they have to, but all their, all the check boxes have to be ticked, and that is not happening. And unfortunately, if you when we review the previous matches, the fielding was horrendous. So I think they have certain things to do before today's match, and I think they should have already done that. It's not going to be easy for them to ये जो जब जब किसी एक टीम एक अपस्विंग में होती है, जब उनके पास ऐसे एक्सप्लोसिव प्लेयर्स होते हैं जैसे वैभव सूर्यवंशी है, जायसवाल है, रविंद्र जडेजा भी आपने देखा होगा काफी हाई स्पिरिट्स में थे कि कितनी बढ़िया तरह से खेले वो। रियान पराग की कप्तानी काफी नप्पी तुली लगी। बॉलर्स भी काफी अच्छा खेल रहे, अच्छी गेंदबाजी कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि शायद थोड़ा सा टिल्ट मैं बोलूंगा राजस्थान की तरफ, बट इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ वॉक ओवर, इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी इजी मैच फॉर आइदर ऑफ द टीम्स। Rajasthan can't take it for granted that Vaibhav will play every time, and they can't take it for granted that Gujarat will not perform against them. I think it's going to be a very, very, equally matched competition today. And so, again, high scoring, maybe most likely high scoring. You see high scores coming in at 200 plus, and the chase will be very exciting. So let's see where that goes. But I still think slightly in favor of Rajasthan, a little bit.
Uh, Narayan sir, Rajasthan has already, handled the knockout pressure. They've already eliminated SRH, a team that big, that plays fearless cricket, and now Rajasthan Royals also looks like they are playing fearless cricket. Of course, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, the one of the very going around stories, one of the very look up to stories. Everybody is praising him. What do you have to say about Rajasthan Royals?
So I agree to Nikhil that Rajasthan, the way they are playing today, are a bit, that 51-49 stuff actually. जैसे लेकिन अगर आप देखोगे ना, हेड टू हेड का 11 मैच अभी तक आईपीएल में दोनों ने खेले हैं, 7 जीटी जीता है, 4 ही जीता है आराम अभी तक। और इस सीजन में एक एक हुआ है, जिसमें पहला मैच राजस्थान ने बहुत नैरोली 6 रन से जीता था, और दूसरा मैच जो पहले अहमदाबाद में हुआ था, तो जयपुर में हुआ था मैच में, उसमें जीटी ने बहुत कन्विंसिंगली 77 रन से मारा था। तो अगेन दी यू नो सीए लॉजिक, मैं पढ़ के जाता हूँ पूरा पेपर सेट पढ़ के एकदम, है ना, फ्रॉम ऑल, 3 टेस्ट क्वेश्चंस एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड देयर इज एन आउट ऑफ बॉक्स क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली, आउट ऑफ सिलेबस आ जाता है। तो जीटी है ना, वो पढ़ने वाली है, सिस्टम एसओपी वाली टीम है एक्चुअली।
Yes.
राजस्थान रॉयल क्या आउट ऑफ बॉक्स थिंकिंग हो जाता है। लेकिन हो सकता है आज कि सिराज और रबाड़ा सूर्यवंशी को कोई आउट ऑफ बॉक्स, आउट ऑफ सिलेबस कोई गेंद डाल दे, तो हो सकता है वैसे देखा जाए। लेकिन अगर आप नो अगर आप देखोगे राजस्थान रॉयल्स की जो स्ट्रेंथ है, वो ऑफ कोर्स सूर्यवंशी है। द वे ही वाज डिस्ट्रक्टिव इन दैट फर्स्ट मैच एक्चुअली, 97 ऑफ 29 बॉल्स, एक लास्ट बॉल अगर वो मार देता तो ही कुड हैव ब्रोकन दैट रिकॉर्ड ऑफ 100 रन्स,
Yes.
सेंचुरी का हो जाता उसका। एंड जैसे अपन ने प्रीव्यू में डिस्कस किया था कि वन पर्सन हुम आई रियली एडमायर इज जेफरी आर्चर। आर्चर ने भी उस मैच के अंदर, परसों वाली मैच के अंदर, तीनों को, हेड, अभिषेक और ईशान किशन, तीनों को उसने आउट किया था। सो दूसरी बात ये भी है कि इस वेन्यू पे, आईपीएल के वेन्यू पे, राजस्थान रॉयल का रिकॉर्ड है हारने नहीं हारने का। अभी तक के सब मैचेस इन्होंने मुल्लानपुर में जीती है। सो एक वो भी उनके फेवर में जाता है। और ऑफ कोर्स उनके जो यशराज पुंजा, गुड फाइंड, जो बिश्नोई की जगह पे
Yeah.
हैज बीन इंटरेस्टेड बाय द कैप्टन रेयान पराग। एंड ऑफ कोर्स दे आल्सो, एंड ऑफ कोर्स जैसे निखिल ने कहा कि जडेजा साहब है ही सीजन्ड प्लेयर है, ही नोज हाउ टू गेट द विकेट्स आउट डन। इन्होंने इस मैच में भी जब एक बार जी थोड़ा सा एसआरएच ने खींचा था 150 के बाद में, तो ही केम एंड ही पुट द ब्रेक्स एक्चुअली। सो ये अच्छा है, अच्छा मैच होना चाहिए। एंड लेट्स सी हाउ इट वर्क्स आउट।
Yeah. लेकिन so just like अभी नारायण सर ने बोला कि GT is a kind of team that has looked structured in this entire tournament, and qualifier one में they got exposed because they were heavily relying on their top order, and when they do not click, they cannot perform, or they do not perform, they end up on the losing side. How do you think they'll strategize against Rajasthan Royals today?
Couple of things. I think one, if you saw both the matches, and we're going to review it, but you win the toss and you do not put in a strong batting team into bat. I think that was a fundamental error made by both the teams. And when that happens, and if you see the bowling effort of Gujarat, Mohammad Siraj is bit out of sorts. He's not the Mohammad Siraj we saw in the England Test series when he was going all guns and he won that last test for us, or the penultimate test for us. I think there's something wrong with him in terms of his form. He's not supporting Rabada the way he should. So if you compare this pair, Rabada and Siraj, with Jofra and Nandre Berger, you will see that Jofra and Nandre Berger act, in tandem. They are bowling well. Nandre Berger is supporting Jofra well. So Jofra takes a wicket, maybe gives away some runs. Nandri chips in with 1 wicket or a tight over. And when that combination clicks, the other bowler also gets a lot of strength. Here, what is happening is that whilst Rabada may be performing, Mohammad Siraj is getting hit all over the place. I think his economy rate in the previous match was horrendous, and I think they made 155 runs in the second 10 overs out of the 230 or whatever they made. So that inability to exploit the situation on the bowling side puts pressure on the batter. So what happens is that when Shubman Gill and Sai Sudarshan come in and they face the uphill task of 240, 250, that's a different ball game. But if the bowlers were able to restrict the other side to 200, 210, 190, then the strategy changes. The batter knows what it needs to be done. He doesn't have to go all out, and hit the hit wicket freak accidents that they don't happen when you are chasing a score that looks. So I think strategy wise, Gujarat, I think, should not even think of letting Rajasthan bat first. Okay, that will be suicidal, because Vaibhav Suryavanshi not batting under pressure, Yashasvi Jaiswal not batting under pressure, and then the people that follow them, I think that's not done. If you win the toss, please, please, please bat first. Put up a score, put these guys under pressure. You'll see Vaibhav has performed under pressure a couple of times, but most of the time he has not. When he's chasing, when he's batting first, he's very free. He plays his natural game. When he's batting second, you somehow see him getting stifled sometimes. So maybe he's told that play a long innings, out मत होना, आपका खेलना जरूरी है. पता नहीं क्या मैसेज जाता होगा उसको, which sort of messes up his head. But when he goes on in the first innings, clean head, no instructions, जाओ खेल बेटा, जो करना है कर, पहले खेलना है, तू नहीं खेलेगा तो और कोई खेलेगा. That the momentum that carries him through is what we saw in the first match, in the match in 2 days ago. So I think batting first for both the teams, because both have got great firepower in the top three, top four. Even Rajasthan, I would say, should not put Gujarat into bat, win the toss, bat first. And do that, because it doesn't matter what the statistics say that team batting second है 180% time. वो कुछ नहीं, वो उस दिन क्या हो रहा है, आपका स्ट्रेंथ क्या है, सामने वाली टीम का स्ट्रेंथ क्या है, वो देख के करिए आप. न कि ये स्टैटिस्टिक्स में जाके कि 10 में से 8 बार जो टीम सेकंड खेली थी वो जीत गई, इसलिए मैं सेकंड खेलूंगा, ऐसा ऐसा करके कोई मतलब नहीं है. आप आपकी ताकत देखिए, आप विकेट देखिए, आप उस दिन का जो माहौल है वहां पे, यानी कि जो बरसात है या क्लाउड कवर है या जो भी क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस है, कि क्या आपको सपोर्ट करेगी पहले बॉलिंग करने में या पहले बैटिंग करने में, ये देख के आप करें, ना कि स्टैटिस्टिक्स देख के. तो स्ट्रेटेजी आई थिंक इज वेरी क्लियर, बैट फर्स्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू मी, अनलेस द climate or the pitch condition dictate otherwise, that's a different story. But if things are normal, steady state, bat first, put up a good score, put the other people under pressure. I think in a pressure game, chasing is very difficult in a pressure game. It's a lot of pressure comes on everybody. And one or two quick wickets, and Rajasthan have this Jofra Archer. I think he 6 times. I think he has taken a wicket in the first over. I think there's
So,
statistic.
Yes, 15
So
wickets he has taken in power play.
in power play, and he's lethal. I mean, forget about the statistics. When you see him
Yeah, yeah.
bowling, and you see the quality of his bowling, I think he's at the peak of his career today, and he bowls amazingly well. I've told you the example about the seam bowling that he did with Rohit Sharma wicket. I think it stands out as one of the classics of this tournament. And I think that if he carries that form forward, it's going to be a handful not only for Gujarat, but if they qualify, also for RCB in case RR qualify for the finals. So I think a lot depends on these two, Nandre Burger and Jofra Archer, and the fact that RR should bat first if they have to get through to the finals. I think that applies to both the teams. In Gujarat, Mohammad Siraj, if he's not, they may need a change there. I don't know if they have a good replacement, but he's not in good form. If you have to take a stand and put him on the bench, get somebody else who can do a better job.
maybe last time जैसे experiment नहीं करना है गुजरात को. They brought in a very inexperienced player and it backfired
I
for
don't
them.
I never heard of the guy
Bajorelia.
before. I think he about 28 runs in one week,
Yes.
or something,
No.
something like that. Yeah.
Yes. नारायण सर, आज के लिए मैचअप्स क्या होंगे? एक साइड रबाडा है, एक साइड आर्कर है, एक साइड राशिद खान है, एक साइड जडेजा है. हाउ डू यू थिंक, what do you think, who do you think will be the matchups today?
I'll come to that. But before that, I would like to add to what Nikhil said was the death bowling of Archer and Nandre Burger has been the best among the teams if you see throughout the match. ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले 6 ओवर में इफेक्टिव है, वो लास्ट 4 ओवर में ही बहुत इफेक्टिव हो जाते हैं ना. तो और coming to the matchups, one will be of course Suryavanshi versus Rabada. That would be a matchup. और देखे who scores and who does the out of box
Six.
thinking or the out of syllabus ball कौन डालता है, या out of the stadium कौन बॉल मारता है, वो एक देखना है. दूसरा would be of course the spinner Rashid Khan versus RR's middle orders to work, especially Riyan Parag and Dono Ferreira. उनके सामने कैसे वो मैचअप करते हैं. और तीसरा would be of course गिल बटलर वर्सेस आर्चर. लेट्स सी हाउ इट वर्क्स आउट, बिकॉज अभी भी आप देखोगे तो द मेन गाय फ्रॉम जीटी वुड बी बटलर. इफ ही हाउ ही परफॉर्म्स entire game man which would work out on them. And on the bowling side Rashid Khan. ठीक
Just
है, देयर आर पेस बॉलर्स, लेकिन ये दो बहुत कंसिस्टेंटली खेल रहे हैं पूरा द टूर्नामेंट के अंदर देखा जाए
You mentioned
तो.
death bowling. I want to mention death batting, if that term is there. Rajasthan has this amazing ability to, have the last 5 overs going at 7 runs an over. I don't know what, I mean, somehow the momentum towards the last five overs just goes away. If you see the
Yes.
previous match, 205 of for whatever at the end of
Yes.
15, and
Right.
I was talking to Karan, and Karan said,
300.
Shiva said 280. I said, no, boss. नो 280, यू जस्ट ये लोग 30 रन भी नहीं बनाएंगे 5 ओवर में। और वही हुआ, 240 या ऐसा कुछ हुआ। तो जो 16 to 20 का जो उनका स्टैटिस्टिक्स अगर आप देखेंगे, मेरे पास है नहीं, एनालिसिस करेंगे तो आपको ये दिखेगा कि somehow ऑल द momentum built by a Vaibhav Suryavanshi or a Yashasvi Jaiswal or a Donovan Ferreira in that first 15 overs goes away in 16 to 20 somehow. I think that should not happen when they're playing a crunch match. You must keep up the momentum. You have to ensure that you get that 60 runs, 75, 65 runs in the last five over that 12 or 13 per over, because that's what how this tournament has evolved. That's what RCB has excelled in. If you see RCB's, if you compare the flow of runs, RCB may be slow in the first 10 overs, but the second 10 they just take it away from the opposite party. And I think that's a very key element and a very key strategy and execution of strategy that Patidar and company do very well, which I think somewhere Riyan Parag has not succeeded. Somewhere people who follow him are not really hitting the way they should in the last five overs. That I think is a crucial whenever Rashid Khan bowling to you in the last five overs, and he's a magician there. You have to be careful, but you must not let the momentum come down. You must continue the momentum so that you reach that score that could look unbeatable. So I think they need to pull up the socks there. Death batting is horrendous. Death bowling is superb, as you rightly said, right? But their death batting, oh my God, it's terrible.
So the numbers are when Riyan Parag got out that day, the score was 2074. He was the fourth one to get out at 15.2 that point of time. उसके बाद में सनाका गया, फरेरा गया, आर्चर गया, बर्गर गया. So what happened? They lost almost 5 wickets after that, 4 wickets after that, for hardly 37 runs, or
Exactly.
36 runs देखा जाए तो नहीं.
Not done.
उसमें क्या हुआ? शनाका फरेरा, those both actually I don't know why was Shanaka put up before Ferreira देखा जाए,
Yeah.
है ना. एक तो वो उन्होंने गलती की, Shanaka कुछ किया नहीं, Ferreira also did not do well, and they can't expect very thing from Joffrey Archer. हालांकि पुराने वाले मैच में उन्होंने 32 रन मारे थे 14-15 बॉल के अंदर.
15 रन,
सो
15
हाँ
ओवर में।
हाँ हाँ हाँ. सो आई अग्री विद निखिल के डेथ बॉलिंग जैसे डेथ बैटिंग ऑल्सो, मतलब लास्ट 5 ओवर में कम से कम 75 रन आने चाहिए, 70 से 75 रन, तभी. अदरवाइज इफ यू सी थ्रू आउट द मैच दे वर शोइंग स्कोर्स ऑफ 280, और
Yeah,
तीन
yeah,
300
yeah.
ब्रीच होगा क्या आज एक्चुअली,
Yeah. Actually,
और प्लस आई थिंक इन वन ऑफ द इंटरव्यूज सूर्यवंशी हैड सेड कि मेरा एक ख्वाब है कि मैं
200।
T20 में 200 रन बनाऊं, एक्चुअली डबल
बच्चे लोग
सेंचुरी.
हैं भाई, बच्चे लोग हैं, चांद पे जाना चाहते हैं, जाए।
सो या हितवी.
Yeah. So I just hope that this qualifier does not end up being like the last two matches that we saw. First innings बहुत ही बढ़िया रहता है और second innings it just becomes one-sided and we do not want to see that. कांटे की टक्कर देखनी है हमें as
जरूर।
viewers. So let's see. It's one match, one ticket to finale and one opportunity to face RCB. Will
So
Gujarat
my question to you, Hetvi, who do you think should RCB face? Who is a weaker team? What do you want? क्या ये टीम आएगी तो मेरी टीम जीतेगी? कौन सी टीम आनी चाहिए आपके हिसाब से?
Honestly, I would prefer Gujarat Titans if I think from my mind, but otherwise, I don't want to be in that spot where I have to pick between these two. So, RR.
You're politically correct. But at the same time, I think I agree with you that because RCB has beaten Gujarat so heavily in the previous encounter, the scars of that encounter remain. So psychologically, if GT comes again against RCB, RCB stand a better chance against as compared to RR coming and facing RCB from a psychological perspective, not from
Yeah,
a skill perspective again. So yes, I agree with you. But let's see how let's see
let's
how
see.
it happens.
एंड निखिल, एट दिस वेन्यू 5 मैच खेले गए, 3 मैच उस टीम ने जीते हैं जिसने बॉलिंग पहले करी है.
Okay, that's statistics, boss. Statistics. I am saying no, they hide less and they hide more and show less.
Yes.
But whether there's no rains predicted, weather will be good, and dew factor will depend once the lights are turned on. सब करके दिस इज व्हाट इट इज बीइंग सेड. So let's say it should be a good match, not the one-siders. The first two matches were totally one-siders actually. हालांकि एक में 92 का डिफरेंस था, एक में 47 का डिफरेंस था. तो वी डोंट नो कैसे क्या होगा, बट एटलीस्ट अच्छा मैच होना चाहिए. यहाँ तक 2 महीने अपन ने मैचेस देखे हैं, तो यार कम से कम कोई अच्छा मैच तो दिखाओ हमको.
And leading up to the final, I think it's important that the momentum from a game perspective is built. Also, from a nationalist, I think the discovery of so many Indians, and I think we'll discuss that at the end of the tournament. What are the finds of this season? What does it mean for India as a team? As a national team, as a team that competes in the international arena, who have we found in this entire tournament who we think will actually be prospects for the Indian team and who can make a very big difference to India's competitive edge in a highly competitive atmosphere outside. Because there's talk about Vaibhav hitting Pat Cummins, Vaibhav hitting Jasprit, Vaibhav hitting this, Vaibhav hitting that. So a lot of analysis has to be done. Is he ready? What are India's prospects? Who are those guys who are actually now evolved and ready to come into the Indian team? And let's take that as a separate. But
Yeah,
whilst
yeah.
watching today's match and watching the फाइनल मैच, दैट शुड बी एट द बैक ऑफ आवर माइंड दैट आईपीएल तो अभी हो गया, जिसको जीतना है वो जीतेगा संडे को. लेकिन इसके बाद जो हमें सीख मिलती है, ये हमें भारत की टीम के लिए क्या इसका असर पड़ेगा, उसके लिए एक एनालिसिस हम करेंगे जरूर
नहीं नहीं,
इन द
हाँ वो
लास्ट
भी है.
सेगमेंट.
नेशनल टीम जो अभी अनाउंस हुई है अफगानिस्तान के सामने जो मैचेस होंगे, उसमें बहुत पुराने क्रिकेटर्स ने काफी क्रिटिकली काफी कमेंट्स किए हैं कि इसको
जी
लेना चाहिए, इसको नहीं लेना चाहिए था,
जी
ऑल दैट स्टफ. तो वो भी वी कैन टेक दैट आल्सो अ पार्ट ऑफ व्हेन वी आर डिस्कसिंग दैट.
श्योर.
डेफिनेटली. बुमराह का रिप्लेसमेंट अभी इंडिया टीम को मिला कि नहीं, दैट्स द मेन क्वेश्चन वी नीड टू आंसर. लेट्स सी. ऑलराइट, आज देखते हैं गुजरात टाइटंस इफ दे रिस्पॉन्ड लाइक चैंपियंस और राजस्थान रॉयल्स कंटिन्यू देयर इनक्रेडिबल प्लेऑफ रन. We will find out soon, and stay tuned because we will be back with a review on Cricket TV, all things cricket and more. See you again.
आओ देखें क्रिकेट टीवी, जहां मिलने लगी क्रिकेट की सारी बातें, जहां जोश भी है, जहां होश भी है, जहां क्रिकेट है.